I'm sorry, guys. No, Harry can't come out to play right now because he's grounded. Hi guys, my name is Maria Park and this is Approach to Nerd. In this episode, we are reviewing Charmed Season 2, Episode 19, entitled Unsafe Space. So, not my favorite episode, actually. I'm pretty annoyed at most of it. So if you get triggered by this, I'm sorry. Only I'm not, because I am triggered as well by this episode and the writing of this episode. So let's just jump in, because why not? So in this episode, it basically starts with Julian's team drilling down into safe space to find the tree and the black amber. Now, they don't know about the command center, that is obvious, but they do know about the tree and the black amber. So they're trying to find it. So they told everybody to go home and they're just drilling. We did not have Jordan in this episode at all, by the way, but we did have Swan. Swan, who is my secret mastermind of it all. She's there for like a millisecond. She basically sends out, she was sending out instant message or a tweet or whatever that Maggie saw. That's how they know that they are magical detectors as well as drilling equipment in safe space. So they get Elder Celeste, who is off living her best life. And she comes back and she tells them, well, they need to do two things, that the girls need to go to Seattle to find some witches that are in witches protection. So like retired witches. I didn't know you could do that, but that's awesome. And then they go under the guise of this club of women who are obsessed with this show called Dirty Little Witches. Yeah. And a lot of things happen with Mel, so I'm going to get into that in a second. After they get to the club, Celeste and Harry have a side mission where they're basically going to Scotland. I love referencing Scotland because I'm half Scottish. My mother was born in Scotland. I have Scottish citizenship, or UK citizenship. Anytime that we can bring Scotland into the fold, I'm going to do it. But they're basically going off to the castle where, Jimmy was created from Harry to find the skeleton key, apparently, that opens up his magical bottle. And it's almost like I Dream of Jeannie, but it's I Dream of Jimmy. That should have been the title of this episode. That would have been hilarious. But apparently the skeleton key is in some kind of Babylonian statue, and they need to find it, and the place is in ruins. So Celeste and Harry are basically off to do that. I will get into Hasty in a second. So back to the girls, Macy and Maggie and Mel head to Seattle. They can't teleport because they can't get to command center because Julian and his crew are there. So they go to Seattle and they find that Ruby, the girl that Mel was having, I don't really know what their relationship is because it was casual sex, but just repetitive. I don't know what their relationship's at. They weren't girlfriends, but basically she is one of the witches there that's in the witches protection, and she has an amber marble. Now Celeste said that they needed to find a witch who has a marble. So they just basically interpreted this as, well, we just need to have the amber marble. And when Mel and when her and Ruby have this talk, it's almost like, oh, hey, you're a witch. And then Ruby's like, oh yeah, my mom's a witch. I just didn't want to be a witch. This guy came into my mom's life. He was not, he was a demon, made me, freaked her out, made me realize I didn't want anything to do with the magical world. I don't like being a witch. I don't want to be a witch. So of course Mel's like, I need your marble. I need your help. Now, the irony of this situation is, Ruby is 100% serious that she does not want to be a witch, and Mel is 100% serious that she should be. So that comes in a little bit later as causing a problem in their relationship, but we'll get to that in a minute. So yeah, they get the marble from Ruby. They go back to the house, and Mel throws the marble. Macy goes through first, which I keep thinking, Macy, why do you keep jumping through these portals? And you don't know what the heck's happening every time. But she goes through she's supposed to be the logical one. So she goes in first, then Maggie, and then it gets too small for Mel and closes. But it's a good thing that happened because Basically, the sisters are trapped inside of the marble because the marble is only made to be used by the witch that was, the White Lady gave it to. So, yeah, Mel had to go back to the club to get Ruby and to bring her back to help get her sisters out because there's no oxygen in there and they're pretty much dying. Side note, Celeste pretty much figured out that Harry and Macy are into each other, which, we all know because, we've been knowing it all season. I don't know what took her so long. She should have known it like in the episode she was in. But so they were getting it on at the beginning of this episode. And I'm going to tell you guys, when I saw them like full on, like the bed's messed up. They're like doing it against the dresser. The sisters are like, what's this noise? They're like banging around. And like, Maggie's got her stick out. She, her and Mel are getting ready to charge in there and like take some people down because their sister's in trouble. And it's just that her and Harry were having rough sex. When I saw that though, when I saw how intimate they were, I knew something was going to happen. I knew it. I knew. Because this is Charmed, and this is a Charmed reboot, which is actually even more devastating than Charmed because I knew an OG Charmed, at least, Leo and Piper would have had a little bit of happiness. Not one episode, but I knew they were going to do something. So, yeah. Celeste basically tells Harry, you're having feelings for her. It's gonna mess up your duties as a white lighter. I mean, remember Charity? She like, I'm like, really? So she puts that in his head, which I knew something. Whenever a character does this to another character, especially when they just get in a relationship with somebody, and especially one that all of the fans were like, oh, when are they gonna get together? When are they gonna get together? And they finally get together, something's gonna screw it up. So just keep that in mind for the rest of this review because I'm triggered. So anyway, after Ruby gets the girls out, they decide they need to get Jimmy out with the skeleton key that both Harry and Celeste were able to find in the castle in Scotland. Simultaneously, the entire episode, Vivian has been buzzing in Julian's ear saying, you got to get the charm ones. You got to get Macy. Use your connection to Macy. We need Macy because we got to get the Black Amber because we got to save humans. All the medical, advancements we can make with the Black Amber. We got to do it. I want to save humans. And it's just like blah, blah, blah. We even saw a flashback to when Julian was a child and was in the hospital telling his Aunt Vivian about the magical man. Now, they never really explain, unless I missed it, and I don't think I did, why Vivian was so eager to believe this child about the magical man. They never really went into that, why she believed him. I mean, this is like what, 10-year-old? I mean, I don't understand that at all. So I think there's a little bit more story to that. But I am happy that I was correct that Julian was partnered with her the whole flipping time. Now, he may not at the time be as dirty as she is because she's the one that wanted to go after the Dark Lighter. I don't know how she knew about the Dark Lighter. I wish we understood why they knew so much about all of this, the charm ones, all of this stuff. Like, why do they know so much? But, and I'm sure they've had connections over the years. They probably come across more magical creatures and more magical beings that explained all this lore to them. But I mean, I would love for them to say it. Stop assuming we know how they know. But anyway, so long story short, Julian's sister, Rosemary, who is in a coma, she has been getting fed little drops of Black Amber, and it's basically she's able to wake up for like minutes at a time, even though she's brain dead. And that's all due to the aunt. And apparently Julian and her have been like working with each other for 30 years on this. So regardless of his conscience, Julian has been aware of what's been going on for 30 years. And yes, Vivian has done some shady stuff, like probably behind his back or to the side, like sending Jimmy after the charm ones, which he even brings up, but he never prevented any of this. The only thing I will say about him, though, is that he was really hesitant to get Macy involved because it was Macy. If it had been anybody else, if it had been Mel or Maggie or just shit, we'll just go get Maggie or just go get another random witch, I don't think he would have put up that much of a fight, which means he is still dirty and he is still shady. So because it's Macy, he hesitated for most of the episode until the end of the episode where he said he's going to bring Macy, basically to them or to the aunt by any means necessary. That's bad. And also something else that's kind of a little triggering, and it's only because, so, okay. First of all, let's talk about Maggie's power before I get into that. So Maggie's power has actually, I guess she's in control of it now. It's only been one episode, but she's in control of this now. When her and Macy were inside of the marble, she was able to touch Macy, and you saw this like white light go through her and into Macy. She was able to control the way she felt. She was able to do that. So that means that her empathic ability has increased, and her control over it apparently is 100% now. I don't know how, but in this series with the writing, unfortunately, we just have to roll with it. The reason I'm saying that is that the thing that has triggered me the most in this episode is that Harry basically was told to stay in this circle by Celeste when they were getting ready to open, the I Dream of Jeannie bottle to let Jimmy out. He was the only one that was supposed to stay in that flipping circle. But when Jimmy came out, he knocked Macy and, Mel out and almost everybody out. And when Harry saw Macy unconscious, he left the circle to save her, and then Jimmy almost got away. But Ruby used like a wind spell, which was actually pretty badass, by the way. If she wanted to be a witch, she'd be a formidable witch. And basically blast him down. He couldn't escape, and then Harry was able to tackle him. But this led Harry to the brilliant conclusion that all CW characters at one time or another have, to try and get rid of his feelings. Because they can't be together, because it's too dangerous, and it interferes with his job and his purpose as a white lighter. If I could put in an intermission right now and just start screaming, I would. Harry, why? I was so annoyed. I hate this freaking storyline. I hate when they do this. It was because the inevitable thing is they're going to go through all these like freaking scenarios where like either they're going to, one person will be in danger, another person will be like, oh my God, I'm sorry I did this. Or they'll both try to make each other jealous. It's just this whole unnecessary obstacles because you don't have any obstacles. You have one bitchy elder telling you can't be together, and you got that in your head, and that is on you. You are an idiot. And Harry asked Maggie to take his feelings away. And then if she does it, then who's going to be mad at her? Macy. Especially Macy's like, I love you, Maggie. You know that, right? I love you too. Maggie, take my feelings for your sister away. And of course, Macy will be like, why would you do that? I thought you loved me. It's just a bunch of unnecessary crap. So I'm just really annoyed by that. So triggered. Mel and Ruby. So after Ruby saves them and they're like, Mel and her are talking, Mel is all like, oh, how did it feel to use your powers? You must be so excited. And Ruby's like, no, not really. Like, I don't want to be a witch. Nothing has changed here. The irony of Mel's dilemma with Ruby is that she broke up with Nico because she didn't want Nico to be in her witch life because it was too dangerous. And now she's with Ruby, who is a witch, and Ruby is basically giving her an ultimatum because she doesn't want to be in her witch life either. So the girl is not going to win. So you might as well pick up the phone and call Nico. So I'm just saying, get your girl back. All right, the least, call Jada. Jada's half white lighter and half witch. She'd be very helpful and useful in this scenario. But, whatever. I don't know why it's never dawned on Mel to even scry for Jada during any of their problems when they couldn't find Harry or any. Her previous girlfriend is half white lighter, half witch. That is ultra useful. But, whatever. It's easy for her to call Abigail. Besides, she's going to end up with Abigail anyway, I'm pretty certain. But yeah, I'm trying to think if I'm leaving anything out because this episode, oh my God, it's just like, why? I understand that this was not meant to be the season finale. I understand that they had to stop shooting because of COVID. And so we aren't going to get resolution to this crap until season 3. But man, I just didn't like this episode. I'm just going to be real. I didn't like it. This is probably on my top 3 list of worst episodes of this season. And if you did like it, I'm sorry. Again, I love the Charmed universe. I love the characters. I do not like the writing. Harry is grounded. The writer is grounded. Actually, I'm firing the writer who wrote this script is fired. And if this person's the same one that did 15 and 16, actually 17 wasn't too bad. 18 was but I mean, especially 15, because I really liked episode 15. If this is the same writer, then obviously something happened in the writer's room and they were like ganged up on, and maybe the other writers were like, hey, you're making us look bad with this good script. What are you doing? And so they like beat the writer up, and then so the writer was like, okay, I'll fix it, and then wrote like the most asinine, crappy script they could think of for the season finale for episode 19. So if it's not the same writer, never hire this writer again, ever. They are crap. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, that is my opinion on this episode. I would love to know what yours is, so please leave me a comment below and let me know. And if you would like to sign up for jury duty, hit the subscribe button. And if you'd like to know who's next on the nerd ballot, hit the notification bell. Until next time, I can't wait for you to approach the nerd. Bye, guys. Thank you for watching my video. I really appreciate it, but hey, the party doesn't have to stop now. Click on one of these videos and keep it going.